of your experience and of your life.
Yeah, you know, that's a pretty good point. David, have you written a book?
I have a book written. It's about 450 pages, and it's called America's Fall from Space. And it's not published yet, and the reason it's not published is I'm in the process of doing a movie deal right now.
Wow.
They're doing a movie on my life story.
Wow.
Great. Number two, sir, just based on what you were saying, when you touch that device out there and the impulses or whatever that took place when you touched it, I get the gut feeling that once you're on the inside there, sir, that you must have been having some things that transport you telepathically or whatever, that I would love to be able to sit down and talk with you.
Because I have a career going here and a life, that's one of the reasons I don't get into it. But your assumption is pretty much correct.
Really?
Some interesting events that did occur.
Really?
Yeah.
So even now, David, there are some things that you would prefer not to discuss.
Right. It was lifelong exchange of information, you might say. So there was
I understand. You need not say another word. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with David Adair and Art Bell. Good morning.
Art Bell, this is Jason from Seattle.
Hi, Jason.
David, first of all, just curious if you got your rocket back.
No, I never did.
I didn't think so. Second of all, I'm very interested in the physics of this engine. Would you say it had interstellar capability, and if so, could you elaborate a little bit on maybe how it operated?
Are you referring to his engine or to the one?
The very large engine that you call it.
Okay.
Excellent question.
Yes.
Very excellent question. He's absolutely right. It's not just a propulsion system; it's a power plant, which one form of this type of energy could take the form of a small reactor the size of a standard office desk that could supply all the power to New York City on a chunk of field the size of your thumbnail for 100 years. That's the type of fusion reaction that you can have in these fusion reactors. But on the other side, it can be an outrageous propulsion system, and it can solve a riddle. I'm sure this engine could do it. You could go millions of times faster than the speed of light without breaking the speed of light. Now, how is that possible?
Yes, that would have been my question.
The engine itself, as we talked about earlier, is contained in a fusion reaction, the power of a sun. Okay, how in the world do you contain an H-bomb with an electromagnetic graviton field? Well, how does that work? There's only one thing in the universe we know that can hold the power of a sun. It's called a black hole. It swallows the sun, which are billions of H-bombs going off simultaneously, swallowed, gone forever, never seen again.
Yep.
Obviously, it doesn't have a problem containing it. Well, then, therefore, this field that you have artificially created within this engine is an artificial black hole in effect. Yes, it is. The next thing that you can do, which I never had time to get the research on it, was phase two. That is to take that field and do a double stack, like a stack of donuts. Outside, one stack inside containing the engine, the second stack containing the spacecraft. Then what happens is, let's say out in front of you on a linear track, point A to point B, you're looking at 100,000 light years distance. Well, there's no way that you're going to be able to live long enough to get 100,000 light years done, even at the speed of light. However, there's only one other thing in the universe that bends space. It's called a black hole. So you have an artificial black hole extended outside your craft. What happens is, just like paper wrapping around you, a burrito theory is what I call it. Space starts wrapping like a burrito around you real tight. And then what you have to do is only travel the linear distance of a single width of an edge of a burrito. You shut it off, you end up on the other side, and you have went millions of times faster than the speed of light without breaking the speed.
All right, I have had some guests that have described it this way. Take a sheet of paper.
That's what I could do, yeah.
And you think of an ant crawling from one side of the paper to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the ant's got a long way to go for an ant.
Unless...
But if you take the paper and you fold the paper...
Roll it.
Roll it, then suddenly the ant, gee whiz, he's there.
He's there. It's about the width of his body.
He's on the other side.
Exactly. And you've went the same distance without breaking or disturbing any universal laws. And that's theoretical astrophysics, and it does work.
All right. Then, by the way, you are in agreement with Professor Kaku. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Art Bell and David Adair. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm calling from East Meadows, New York.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a question to David.
Yes, sir.
Hey, David, you last time I heard you talk, you said you blew up your rocket
Right.
one? Yeah,
I did.
by using the graphite grease, right?
Right.
Okay, now, you also made mention that your rocket, if it was launched out in space, would go at the speed of light?
No, yeah. In linear propulsion it would, because the minute that you have that kind of fusion matter coming out the exhaust area, just the old Newtonian laws will take over for every action. There's an opposite and equal reaction. Since the matter is leaving at the speed of light out the exit port, and specific impulse of the engine, which is the orifice area, and in a matter of short time, you should be able to catch up to that velocity.
It would not, though, exceed the speed of light, would it?
No.
It would reach, or
Exactly.
almost reach the speed of light, which?
Right.
It wouldn't actually reach, because my understanding of physics is if you actually reached the speed of light, you would become infinite.
Right. It's an infinite curve. The only way to get around that problem, which I have no idea of doing, you would have to create some kind of, infinite curve dampener that would stop the effect of that kind of curvature problem.
All right, so the answer, caller, is with that kind of propulsion system, you would reach very nearly the speed of light.
Okay, if you would go that fast, would the outside temperature of your craft reach a certain temperature where it would blow up?
No, not if you're in deep space. Only if you're in an environmental area where that you would run into a temperature problem, like passing through a sun. But the interesting thing about that, though, this still keep in mind this is all still theoretical, because we've never been able to get anything to do this yet. But in theory, that the craft should reach almost the speed of light, which it would be so much of a small difference you wouldn't be able to perceive it. But what would happen on the outside, the craft itself would become basically an energy particle. And if that happens, all right, you could have a spacecraft the size of an aircraft carrier pass right through you, through your house, out the planet, and keep getting it and not disturb you. And yet, inside the spacecraft, it would be relative to the occupants, and they wouldn't know any difference.
Wow.
It's very possible for a vehicle to be traveling that fast, pass right through a planet. That's why when you're deaccelerating, your navigation is extremely important, that you don't start rematerializing inside a sun or a planet.
No, very, very uncomfortable indeed. You would just go...
That's it. You'd be an unhappy camper at that moment.
You would be fuel, exhausted instantly.
Well, what you'd be is a matter reaction explosion. They wouldn't even see you, just see a supernova somewhere out there.
Great. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Art Bell and David Adair. Where are you, please?
In Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Adair, earlier in the program, did I misunderstand you, or did you say that the aircraft you called the Vomit Comet flew up to like 90,000 feet?
No, I said, did I say 90,000? Yeah.
I thought that's what you said.
No, maybe I got confused a second. You'll get 90 seconds of free fall.
Right.
And, no, that'd be at the edge of space just about. If I said that indeed, then I made an error. I've got unit of time and measurement there confused. 90 seconds
I was
free
just
fall.
curious to that effect, because I have performed maintenance on that very aircraft. And
okay.
No, it wouldn't go up that far.
High.
I flew in the Concorde, and I got to fly at about 65,000 feet, and I can't imagine a conventional aircraft going to 90,000.
No, I know you get about 90 seconds free fall, but what altitude do you guys hit?
Oh, they usually do that around 35 to 40,000.
Oh, okay.
They fly a series of long, slow arcs.
Right, hyperbolic curve.
Yeah, get that 90 seconds of free fall in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can imagine why it got its name too. I bet they cleaned up in there a lot.
I was going to ask you a question. If that's maintenance, do you have friends, or do you have to clean that thing up now?
He's gone, but
okay.
you don't. I know the answer to that one.
Yeah, they do.
First time caller line. You're on the air with David Adair and Art Bell. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Richard.
Where are you, Richard?
Ramona.
Ramona, California.
Right. No,
good.
Ramona in the bedroom. No, I'm not.
Where are you?
Ramona, California.
Ramona, California. All right. Yeah. And you're right. My Ramona's in the bedroom.
Mine's in her room. I'm 47, and approximately 12 years ago, I better shut the radio. I was in a state hospital in Massachusetts, and there I met Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins. And it's not funny, but they were totally wiped out.
You know, I'm not going to go further with that, except to say this. Most of the astronauts, the majority of astronauts, have had, you know, whether or not you believe the story he just told, have had